There is nothing like that moment of realization, and sometimes that is a shared moment with a moment of regret, and I am pretty sure that Hunter Hearst Helmsley is regretting giving Karrion Kross a live microphone during last night's Monday Night Raw. What's up, guys? BC coming at you with this week's Raw Review 6/7/25 fully amplified. Last night, Karrion Kross just showed WWE what the audience wants. What the audience has been telling Hunter Hearst Helmsley that they want, but Helmsley refuses to listen because it's not his idea. He had this wild idea when he saw Jey Uso flap his arms and get a little bit of a response. He said, what if we go full throttle? I'm going to put the entire rocket on you. You're going to be my pet project. It worked to a degree. Fans are yeeting, kids are dancing, but merchandise sales only went up 9%. Tops bottomed out at 3%. Ratings went backwards. They could not consistently sell out their arenas when Jason Uso, as champion, was on the show. So at what degree did putting the entire rocket on Jey Uso, what effect did it truly have? Other than people dancing and yeeting for 20 minutes, but it's the participation era. People are spending so much money, they just want to sing and dance and yeet. What effect did it really have? Well, it showed you after just 2 months, tops, they had to take the title right off of Jason Yeaterman. Didn't work. And it took 2 months because Helmsley and his ego and his stubbornness, he didn't want to admit that it's just not world championship material. That's just not Jason Yeaterman. But then you have somebody like LA Knight, who for over 2 years, people have been telling you, what are you doing? This is the guy. He's primed. He's ready. It's not a flash in the pan. The U.S. title is as far as he'll go, though, right? He'll lead the horse to water, in this case, LA Knight to water, but there'll be no water in the trough. He led him all the way through the desert to the trough. But now that horse has no water. LA Knight will always get to the dance, or once in a while he'll get to the dance, but he'll never actually win it. So we've been telling LA Knight, he said, shut up. You're not a real fan if you don't like Yeaterman, or you don't like us pushing Sami Zayn for 10 years straight. Even though it leads to nothing. But you will get who I am pushing. So when we say, no, it's LA Knight's time, and he puts a briefcase on Damian Priest a couple Money in the Banks ago, what are you doing? It was LA Knight. We say it's LA Knight's time this year for the Money in the Bank. He puts it on Sethington Rollins, that briefcase. Now Rollins is going around with a goof troop. They don't even have a name. Paul Heyman is an Oragel, an Oral-B, an Oracle. He's a dolphin, a whale. Everybody's still singing along. They don't know if Seth is face, heel. They don't care. This group is a goof troop. It's a goon squad. But let's put the briefcase on Seth. That's fun. We'll give LA Knight the final 10 seconds of a 2.5-hour Raw. That's how we'll utilize LA Knight. CM Punk should have won the Rumble. That was pretty obvious, right? Have CM Punk go over to face Gunther at WrestleMania, something like that. No, we'll give it to tag team Jason Yeaterman. We'll put CM Punk in some weird triple threat at Mania with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Makes no sense. The story will be CM Punk eliminated Roman Reigns from the Rumble, and now Roman is throwing a temper tantrum. He's upset that CM Punk followed the Royal Rumble rules. And that'll ignite a triple threat. No title on the line, no reason, but we'll call it the biggest main event in history. The fuck are you doing? It was just simple. Just have CM Punk win the Rumble. That's all you had to do. Last year, the year before, Cody won that thing. CM Punk got injured. They were the final two. Story writes itself. This year, it's the redemption for CM Punk, and it makes sense because you're taking the title off of Gunther anyway at Mania. Could have went John Cena as well, but he turned heel and took on Cody. You could also win Cody Rhodes CM Punk for the championship because you tease that. You tease that way in advance. So all of this teasing with CM Punk, and they go Jason Yeaterman because kids dance and yeet. But the crowd was telling you it's CM Punk. That you got to think long term. This isn't about dancing and singing and selling 9% more t-shirt sales. Because when it's all said and done and the smoke settles and the dust clears, CM Punk will be far outselling Yeet shirts. LA Knight and those Yes still outsell the Yeet shirts. We're not thinking long term. CM Punk, LA Knight, Karrion Kross. These are three dudes you can build a show upon. Keep building, obviously. There's still Lego pieces that need to be put in play. Puzzle pieces that need to go where they fit, no question. But that's three individuals you can build upon because that's what the crowd is telling you. I'm not even a big CM Punk fan, but I'll be the first to tell you that when his music hits and he comes through the curtain, the show finally has a pulse. LA Knight, Karrion Kross, CM Punk, three dudes you can build upon. Instead, every single Monday, we get Yeaterman. We get Samuel Uso. He just got out of his 9-to-5 from Home Depot, and now he's going to his night gig as a wrestler. Samuel Zayn, Jason Uso. Penta. We'll throw Penta into the main. Listen, I like Penta too. Main event in 2025 of WWE upon arrival. It's forced. It doesn't work. There's not a story in anything he's doing, so I can't care. It's a dude in a Halloween mask that does cool moves. Without a story, without a reason to care and invest. That's all it is. But Helmsley refuses and he just pushes his guys. It doesn't work. The live crowd will scream and holler. We get it. They'll do that for anybody. They're paying so much. They just want to go in part. They want to be a part of the show these days. I say it all the time. Look at when a match pauses. It could be 2 minutes into the match. But when the wrestlers are down and out and trying to actually sell, what a concept. When there's no action, when there's a stall in the action, listen closely. The crowd will get antsy. ADD, ADHD, whatever you want to call it, whatever alphabets you want to throw in. They'll get antsy and they feel like they need to start chanting. They'll start chanting, "This is awesome." The second there's a moment of non-action, they feel like now they have to. That's what we are dealing with. You can't just go on that. You've pushed Samuel Zayn for years. The sad fact is he's a mid-carder unless you give him top-notch booking. The only thing we're going to remember main event status for years is him and the Bloodline and making the Usos laugh. That's it. Other than that, it's the jackass match that he had at, I believe, SummerSlam several years ago. 100 matches with Kevin Owens, and I can't remember much else. But he's the guy who's about to win the title sometime in the very near future because they're setting that up. Everybody's telling me, you're never going to win the championship. It's like Rocky Balboa. Same thing we just did with Jey Uso. Everybody was telling Jey Uso, you're not going to win the big one. You're not going to win the title. Wasn't that the whole story for Mania? And then he conquers the beast, Gunther. We're doing the same played out, tired story with a played out, tired character. It's time we be honest about it. I like Sammy too. But this is about saving pro wrestling and getting WWE back on track and feeling something again. We don't watch these shows with a feeling or an emotion anymore. We just watch it in a tranced state. If you're there live and you paid all the money and you're there, all the parents, the kids drag their parents out, you're participating. That's great. If you're watching at home, it's no shock that why people are leaving in droves and the ratings are going backwards. It's because there's no feeling connected to any of this. There's no stories to care about. When the show ends, you're literally thinking, where did the last 2.5 or 3 hours go? I could have just watched 4 minutes of highlights, but even that is not needed. I could have read 2 minutes of spoilers, and even that wouldn't be worth it. These shows don't have a pulse. There's no emotion. There's no feeling attached to them. Because look at the guys at the top. Look at last night. Jason Yeaterman, Samuel Zayn, and Penta. Fuck are we doing? How do we go from Hulk Hogan and Savage and Piper and Flair to Austin and Rock and Taker and Angle and Michaels to Brock Lesnar and even Cena and Orton, if you want, in their prime, to Jason Yeaterman and Samuel Zayn? But that's the top of Raw last night. That's it. No CM Punk. LA Knight came from SmackDown for 10 seconds. And it brings us back full circle to the original point of this cold open monologue. Karrion Kross. Some people think he's just bells and whistles. It's clear that this movement is telling you that a lot of people like BC have been behind this dude in Scarlet Bordeaux from day one. Because I have. And a lot of us have. And a lot of us know that that is not the best way to utilize Karrion Kross. And if you don't know, right, I'll give you a little bit of pretext to all of this and why I say that Hunter Hearst Helmsley did not want to hear the entire crowd chant what they chanted last night during that Karrion Kross interview with Jackie Redmond. And I'll tell you exactly what was chanted, what was said, but I want to give pretext because if you don't know, you're about to know. So Karrion Kross was on his way out. He was done. His sole job was to just pump up Sami Zayn on the way out. You're never going to win the big one. You're never going to be champion, Sami. Sami, you're never going to do it. And then the big payoff will just be a match with Sami Zayn. Take the L, look up at the lights, sit at catering for 2 more weeks, sit at home for 2 more weeks, and then we will tell you 3 days before your contract expires that we are not re-signing you. That was the trajectory, just so you guys know. Latest word we got is his contract ends fully in August. We believe, man, the report that I just gave you guys, I think it was in our last upload, the last Amped Up podcast I put out to you guys. I told you exactly what we were hearing. He either re-signed already or there's just T's to be crossed, I's to be dotted. But very close to re-signing if he hasn't already. And that's because of this organic movement that came out of nowhere. It's like one of those R-Truth deals, man, where this just came. If you're like BC, we knew that Karrion Kross was getting shafted. We knew that this is not the best way to utilize Karrion Kross. Not even close. They weren't even utilizing Karrion. It was damn near criminal what they were doing to Kross and Bordeaux. Almost like it was punishment by Hunter Hearst Helmsley, or at least, whether conscious or subconscious, internal sabotage. But to book somebody like Karrion Kross and, you have Karrion and Scarlett right there, and that's how you're using them every single week, when you do use them. Just tell Sami he's never going to win the big one and then take an L to Sami Zayn. I believe right up to Night of Champions that he was still on the way out. He takes one haluva kick and he's looking up at the lights. One haluva kick. Now, trust me, for somebody like BC who loves when a finisher does the job, that's why it's called a finisher. I could not imagine back in the day if somebody is kicking out of Jake Roberts' DDT or somebody kicks out of Hogan's leg drop. Once in a blue moon, I understand. But you should not be kicking out of stunners. Everybody can't be kicking out of tombstone pile drivers. Everybody can't be kicking out of Bret Hart sharpshooter. You're going to tap out or you pass out like Austin. What was that? WrestleMania 13? Finishers have to be finishers. They have to be. And in today's pro wrestling, to get the cheap pops and to get everybody screaming, this is awesome, and to make it easier on these wrestlers, they just have 100 false finishes. And everybody's kicking out of everybody's finisher 17, 16, 18 times a match. So I love when a finisher does the job, trust me, but where is that line? Everybody else gets to kick out of 2, 3, 4. Karrion's got to eat one kick. When Michael Cole himself was telling you throughout the night that Karrion had to win that match. We all knew he did. It was his first PLE in 2 years. Since Mania 40, I believe. I don't even know if he was on that card. Maybe the weekend of. So we all knew he had to win that match. And he had Sami Zayn about to tap out. And he was talking that. It just looked beautiful, man. And Sammy's like passed out, so he doesn't have to tap. He can save face. But Karrion, man, he had it on so tight, and he passed him out. I mean, that's how you... Why would you not go with the momentum? It's like R-Truth. R-Truth had all of this momentum organically, and they bring him back, and instead of using that momentum, R-Truth versus the Authority type of a thing, because it's very real, it's very raw, and everybody's invested, the whole wrestling world. And instead, they brought R-Truth back just to have another match with John Cena, lost in the shuffle because the real story was CM Punk and Cena, and then when that was done, somehow R-Truth gets downgraded to Aleister Black. No offense to Black, but that's mid-card, so he went right back. Based on this booking, in about a month or two, you'll see R-Truth back doing jokes backstage or running around dressed as a garbage can with a new championship called the 24/7 title. Because Helmsley botched this massively. R-Truth is like an afterthought. How do you take something with such momentum and shatter it in just weeks? That's what Helmsley does. He'll take momentum organically that the crowd is giving, and he will shatter it. He did it with LA Knight. He did it with Punk 4 times already since Punk's been back. LA Knight, R-Truth, Karrion Kross. We know why he put the rocket on Yeaterman. You guys hear the interview? He said because he's taking credit for the idea of yeeting. He said, hey, I saw you do a thing in the corner. I want you to keep doing that and then do this and then go up to the kids and pick them up. All his idea. So no wonder. The dude's ego is so massive that's why Jey Uso got the mega rocket, because this was his idea. He took a little thing that Jey did and he said, well, we're going to make it massive. And he's most likely pissed off that it never transcended outside the arenas. The kids dragging their parents, yeeting and dancing, and it never transcended to the ratings, and it never transcended to filling up those arenas. And the merchandise sales. It never went farther than just that arena. Karrion Kross last night was given a live mic. Now, earlier, the first matchup of the night, Samuel Zayn versus Braun Breaker. And Karrion Kross comes out with that same lead pipe, puts it to the ribs of Sami Zayn. So a little aisle attack for 10 seconds. And then later, Jackie Redmond, way up in the, almost in the corridors, man. This is up like in the audience almost. Pretty cool. The whole arena's like behind them, basically. But they're still inside. So I like the setup. And Jackie Redmond is interviewing Karrion Kross, and I don't think Helmsley was expecting what happened next. But it's a beautiful thing, man. And there's no doubt Karrion will be punished for this, because he's getting over organically. And Hunter Hearst Helmsley has no input in this, right? He's got no, it's not his. So Karrion Kross is cutting this interview, and the crowd just hijacks it, takes over. A massive "We Want Kross" chant. He stopped he couldn't even spit out words because the chant was so loud. "We want Kross." This is just a side interview. And when I mean side, I mean it's way, I don't even know where they are. Section 305 somewhere. The whole ring is way behind them. Everybody's focus could be over there. Just watch the Tron. But everybody loses their shit. "We want Kross." And he says, "Well, now you got me." And that elicits a huge response, a huge pop from the live crowd. The moment of regret and the moment of realization. Regretting that he gave Karrion Kross a live mic because now there's no denying the star power of Karrion and how big the movement is and how much momentum he does carry. And the moment of realization. Damn! I've had this dude the entire time and have been doing nothing. I have to now or the crowd is going to shit on me again, just like they did with R-Truth. That's what Helmsley has just came to the conclusion of. I have to do something, but it'll be, we talk about bells and whistles. Some people like to say Karrion is just bells and whistles. Hunter Helmsley is going to do the bells and whistles booking, like he just did with R-Truth with John Cena. He's in a thing with John Cena. How much more can we do? A lot more. He shouldn't be doing anything with John Cena. We already did that. So Karrion Kross will probably have another 2 or 3 matches with Samuel Zayn. He'll probably lose again to Sami Zayn as Sami Zayn continues his quest to a world title, because that's what we need. Wrestling is hurting right now. WWE is really hurting in the numbers and the ratings. Viewers are leaving in droves. So let's go from Jason Yeaterman to Samuel Zayn as your world champion. 2 dudes. Braun Breaker would say it best. 2 dudes that collectively maybe see a gym 3 times a year. You hear Braun Breaker's promo? We'll go over that. I haven't even gotten to the show yet. This is just a lot we're getting off the chest right now. A lot that needs to be said about not just Karrion Kross, but individuals that get over organically. Individuals that the crowd truly says, dude, do something with them. And this company refuses. Nobody was saying that with Jason Uso. They were dancing and they were yeeting and singing along or whatever they were doing. Nobody was saying, dude, take him to the moon. Trust me, I know. He's one half of my fave tag team, the Uso Bros. I'd be the first to tell you if it's time to rocket Jey Uso to the main event. I could have told you that was a fail. Within 3 weeks, his father said they were at dinner and he was exhausted. That same week, he was trying to go over the top rope, almost landed on his dome piece. The guy's legs were done. He's got no cardio. He was winded by the time he even spoke on the microphone. They had to start giving him 1 or 2 lines every promo because he can't even cut promos because he's exhausted dancing. You can't be a main, you can call yourself main event, but there's a difference from actually calling yourself main event and actually being the main event. Nobody was saying put the rocket onto Jason Uso. We were saying that about LA Knight. You didn't. We were saying that about R-Truth from the moment this whole thing happened. You got to do something special. And we've been saying do something big with Karrion Kross. Will this be the moment? Definitely was the moment of realization. Because Helmsley can't hide behind, I didn't know all this was happening. He can't do that anymore. That was live on Raw. They had to stop the interview because that chant was so loud. And that response, well, now you got me. It's the moment of realization and the moment of regret. Damn. Can't turn back now, man. Karrion was out there. Karrion got that reaction. Now, if we keep booking Karrion like an absolute jabroni clown, that shit's going to drizzle right down to the head of talent, creative, and content. Hunter Hearst Helmsley. To Karrion Kross, man. Dude is ready. Dude is primed. Give him the stories, give him the booking, give him some creative, and let him and Bordeaux do what they do. You don't need to see an individual do 650, 720 planchas, 850 inverted moonsaults, or flying all around the ring like a ping pong ball just for your amusement so you can go, whoa, this is awesome. No, pro wrestlers should just ooze that charisma, make you feel something, draw out emotion. You could have 100 dudes doing flips and dives. That's fine. But are they going to draw real emotion out of you? Or are you going to go back and watch their matches 100 times? Because I've watched people that have about 3 to 5 moves. I've watched their matches, a lot of them, probably 20, 30, 100 times. Whether it's a Hulk Hogan and his 3 to 5 moves of doom, a Jonathan Cena and his 3 to 5 moves of doom, Warrior, his 2 moves of doom, press slam, shoulder tackle. But Warrior, I've seen most of his matches 1,000 times. Whether with Rick Rude or a Hogan and Andre, it wouldn't matter, man. Hercules Fernandez. They make you feel some. MJF said it best, man. All these idiots, they risk their careers and their livelihoods. I don't have to do all that because I make you feel. MJF is spot on, man. Roddy Piper wouldn't be doing all this crazy shit. Roddy Piper would just be the crazy shit. We need more dudes that just have the presence. That's a big issue with today's professional wrestling, is that fans just want relatable. Relatable, right? Oh, Dan Bryan looks like me and he's my size and whatever. Sami Zayn, he looks like he could work at Home Depot too. Dad, look, he looks like dipshit Dugenheimer from Home Depot. Yes, he does, but he's a WWE superstar, Kenneth. So treat him as such. You take his autograph. Relatable. We just want relatable. Back in my day, when TVs were black and white and we had respect. But back in my day, man, we wanted larger than life. We didn't want average. We didn't want relatable. We didn't want to see just another version of us. We wanted larger than life. We wanted the 24-inch pythons. We wanted the dead man, the Undertaker, coming down that aisle for 10 minutes. We wanted to see an absolute maniac like Warrior. We wanted to see somebody just flip off authority nonstop, even if it landed them in the pen. Stone Cold Stephen Austin. We wanted somebody so charismatic that, damn, you couldn't help emulate that out of nowhere many times during the day. Just start shouting out, "If you're Sabelle!" Somebody that can flip characters so easily and still be so efficient, like Kurt Angle. He could play a heel, a face. He could be serious. He could make you laugh for 20 minutes straight in a promo. Kurt Angle could do it. Where are those characters these days? Larger than life has been thrown to the wayside for relatable. And when you do that, of course your product is going to be subpar. Pro wrestling is based on characters. Characters. Where's the characters? Because there are a lot of them. Most of them are coming from the WWE Performance Center. That's an assembly line. They're all coming just like any assembly line at a factory, right? The boxes all look the same. It's all the same product inside, and they're all being shipped out. Every wrestler is the same. They're all going to the same promo classes. They're all going to the same wrestling classes and how to do the moves and how to bump and how to do this and how to act. How's the promo classes working, by the way? They go to promo classes, and we're getting the worst promos of all time from these kids. And what's the finished product? Miles Bourne. We just talked about it yesterday. I want to use him as an example. Because if you don't know what a Miles Bourne is, check it out. Tell me you're not looking at a complete bootlegged, ripped off, dollar store version. Randy Orton. Could be a good kid. Might be a good wrestler in the future. He's dating Stephanie Vecchia, I believe. Score. But what's up with the Randy Orton bootleg? We know that that's one of his idols, but hold up, man. That's not going to fly. He's about 2 feet tinier, it looks like. There's a photo with him and Randy, and it's like, if that's the if we're just bootlegging, if we're going from Randy Orton to Miles Bourne, yeah, think about where the issue is there. If we're going from Stone Cold to Samuel Zayn, if we're going from The Rock to Jason Yeaterman, and believe me, I'm not putting Karrion Kross in the same category as a Hulk Hogan or a Stephen Austin. So relax. But what I am saying is that you could take a dude like Karrion Kross, especially with a manager like Scarlett Bordeaux, And you can implement them in so many different variations of storylines because they're so versatile. I think about Karrion Kross and Scarlett I just get uber creative. You could do so much. The believability factor, the realism that goes into a Karrion Kross and a Scarlett Bordeaux. And the coolest thing is that they give their all to this. They really want to succeed. They want to bring out the best and give their best. There's a vid or a clip, something where, and I think it was just from this past Monday Night Raw, all the wrestlers are leaving. What a concept. We always start the show with all the wrestlers showing up with their coffees and smiles and luggage. This was not part of Raw, but all the wrestlers were leaving, and a fan was able to capture some footage of Karrion and Scarlett leaving toward the parking lot, and all the fans are cheering. The chant again was so loud. We want Kross. We want Kross. It was, this is after the show. And there are hundreds of people as if this dude is Taylor Swift. And people are flipping out. It's Karrion and it's Scarlett. They've basically had no TV time the last 2 years. Basically. And they're getting that type of reaction. And the coolest thing is they stopped for like 5 minutes signing autographs, talking to some of the fans, going back. Karrion was about to leave at one point. Scarlett's like, no, come here. There was a kid that wanted to give a high five. I'm not saying you do that on the show, right? I'm not saying you start having Karrion Kross yeet with Jey Uso and all the kiddies from Chuck E. Cheese. But it shows you how they would dedicate their time when the show is already done. It's organic. And you feel that, man. There's a realism and a believability. One interview last night. One interview should change the landscape of WWE and catapult Karrion Kross to where he should be. A main event player, or at least bare minimum, utilize this dude with some good booking and some damn solid creative. Is that so much to ask? Or we could still play the same tired routine of Helmsley and let the stubbornness take hold because he didn't create him. It's not one of his boys. And a big fuck you to the crowd, to the audience, to the fans, because we all know Helmsley cannot stand fans. He can't stand them. I can't tell you how many times he's told us to fuck off. Or mock, make fun of fans. He's done it his entire career. He does it as a suit and tie. This could be another way where he's just like, you'll get exactly what I give you, and if you don't like it, tough shit. Let's get to the actual show. That was a damn long monologue. You're damn right it was, man. It's the only bright part of the show. If you guys want a solid cold open teaser, that's your teaser, man. I'm about to go over 2.5 hours of subpar, boring shit. The best part of the night was that. That's why I spent all this time on it. I won't talk about it again during this review because we spent more than enough time on it, more than I wanted to. But once I start talking about this shit and larger than life versus relatable and who should be pushed because organically they're over and who should be manufactured to be over, once we start talking about all that, man, those are the discussions that are not being had in pro wrestling, only on this channel. So I thank my unit big time, by the way, from subscribers to channel members. Much love and respect, man, because these are the conversations that need to be had if we are truly going to make pro wrestling great again. Raw 6/7/25. I'll try to breeze by this, but, the coffee is flowing. We're talking pro wrestling. When that happens, who knows? This review could go to Thursday. Rollins' Goon Squad starts the show. His Goof Troop, that's all I can call them. They don't have a name. This group serves no purpose. There's no reason behind the group. There was no thought behind the group. Look at the group. There's no name to the group. That tells you everything you need to know. They don't have a theme song. We're still going by Seth's Babyface song. And it's Babyface because it's a sing-along. That song was made so that people can sing to it. That's what babyfaces would do. And you still have it. You have Paul Heyman, the Oragel, or the Oral-B, the Oracle, in there with Rollins. There's no chemistry there, and Rollins doesn't need a mouthpiece, so Paul Heyman just looks so out of place. But, yeah, you can't... They don't have a name, so you got to come up with one. I call them the Goon Squad, or at best, I'll give you the Goof Troop. But they're all out there, at least pumping up some babyface matches for later in the night. Same shit, repetitive every week, right? Sammy and Jay Yeaterman in there with Bronson and Braun Breaker somehow. So it's completely redundant. Nothing would make you go, oh man, this is going to be such a good Raw. Breaker versus Sammy. Bronson versus Yeaterman. But that's what we were given. So they spend 10 minutes trying to pump up those matches. At least it's babyface heel. And then Paul Heyman gets on the microphone. I don't even know what the Oracle was talking about. I really don't. Something about being the Oracle and oracles do oracle things. I have no idea. And I didn't even care because 3 minutes of Paul Heyman talking means less time for Jay Yeaterman later in the night to be yeeting. I'll take 3 minutes of Paul Heyman over 3 minutes of Yeaterman. So let Paul Heyman do his thing. He was pumping up heels being heels. But here's where it goes off the track. Think about what I'm about to tell you, and you tell me how this makes any sense. Because it doesn't. Makes none. It makes absolutely zero sense. All of this time, 10 to 15 minutes, pumping up your matches with baby faces, Paul Heyman making you guys look like legit heels. Or trying to. And then Seth Rollins grabs the mic. After all of this heel work for 10 to 15 minutes, because that's what you're building, right? Heel equity. That's what that promo is for, equity. To make you care about these baby faces later, Sami Zayn and Yeaterman. These big bad heels are coming after the baby faces. And Paul Heyman is that mouthpiece that you hate. You love him, but you hate him. And he's talking all this trash about your baby faces. All of this equity. Rollins grabs the mic and he gives one sentence. Providence, there's only one thing left to say. Welcome to Monday night. And he puts the mic up for all the audience, the fans to finish the thought. Welcome to Monday night. And all the fans scream, Rollins! Monday Night Rollins, and then all of a sudden the babyface theme music hits and everybody starts singing along. So everyone yells Rollins and then cheers, and then the music hits and they're singing. So it ended as a complete babyface group. How does that make any sense? They don't even think about this. How confusing and nonsensical. And when you do that, you can't fully invest into anything. What are you investing in? You talked all this trash about all the baby faces and what's to come later in the night, and by the time that it was ended, you're cheering for the group. You're singing with them. Why would you do your babyface catchphrase, welcome to Monday night, and let the fans finish the thought, Rollins? Why would you do that? You're supposed to be a heel, man. On top of the theme song playing, and everybody singing on their way out, I truly, guys, we call it internal sabotage because you really want to think that Helmsley cannot be that stupid. Hunter Helmsley is not creative. We already know that. Vince Russo has exposed him a million times. He worked with him. People would be going up to Russo with ideas. Helmsley was the one person that was not. Helmsley would go right to Vince and do things behind everyone's back and get things changed. That's how he operated. We know he's not creative. We know he's one of the worst bookers you'll ever come across. We understand that. But can he really be that stupid? Can Hunter Hearst Helmsley be that dumb? That's the question. I don't know. Is he dumb? Of course. But I also believe that because he does not like fans, he just doesn't. He talks down to them. He degrades them. He likes to make fun of them, mock them. That's what Helmsley has always done. Paul Levesque McMahon. I have to believe that a lot of this is just making them look like fools. We'll have them cheer, then boo, sing along, then be irate, just to make them look like clowns. And he knows that the audience that's showing up, a lot of them are kids now because the product is sadly intended just for kids. So everybody's leaving the Chuck E. Cheese and dragging their parents to the shows. Look at the crowds these days. Yeah, that's the crowd that's going to sing along and then boo you. Cheer you and then tell you to fuck off. That's the... I couldn't believe that all of this, we just listened for 10 to 15 minutes about what you're going to do to the baby faces, and Paul Heyman is trying to make you guys sound badass, and then all of a sudden, welcome to Rollins! Monday Night Rollins! Yeah! Oh! Who's the... What? You should have been booing these sumbitches right out of that ring. And you find a way. I don't care if they're the coolest thing in pro wrestling, which they're not, by the way. They're just not. But if they're the coolest thing, you find a way creatively. Find a way creatively to make people boo their asses. That's your job as head of creative, head of talent, head of content. Chief. Oh, he's the chief. That sounds even more official. I don't know if that comes with a little badge. Maybe a little holster to put a water gun. Who knows? He's the chief. I couldn't believe this. I could believe it because I'm so desensitized to it. I'm so used to it. And it's still just so sad to know that we wasted over 15 minutes, nearly 20 by the time the first commercial was done. We were 20 minutes into this show. And you had the Goof Troop, the Goon Squad, cut a 50-50 promo, a face-heel promo. What did it accomplish? Nothing. First matchup of the night, Rok-C Kairi. I was hoping for the best for these ladies. I'm such a big supporter, obviously, of Rok-C and Kairi. And I thought this could be an even matchup, just from the onset. Both ladies, 5'1", both $115 in pounds. I mean, you talk even. And just a good wrestling match. But it was pretty sloppy the first half of this matchup. It was a doable second half. Not good, but doable. Better than the first half. And then Kairi pins your tag champion via roll-up. There's not much more I can tell you. Rok-C just lost out of the blue via roll-up. It was a hold-em-down roll-up, so it's just no finisher was... if you're new to the channel, I call any hold-em-down, I call them roll-ups. Doesn't matter if it's a cradle, the old schoolboy pins, anything like that. Doesn't matter. If you're just being held down, it's a roll-up. So Rok-C was just kind of like, oh no, but Kairi is 5'1", $115, just like you. What are you being held down by? I wouldn't have a problem with Kairi beating Rok-C up front necessarily, but Rok-C I don't feel should be losing right now. She just got to the main roster, but that's another story. The problem I have is she's a champion. I do have a problem with champions losing nonsensical matches with no purpose. So your tag team champion is pinned via roll-up, via hold 'em down. Asuka to the ring post-match, and the Kabukis make the champions look like jabroni clowns. Beat them up, and then have them running. And then the Warriors are added to the title match at Evolution. So it's going to be Roxanne Perez, Rok-C, and Raquel Rodriguez versus Alexa and Charlie. I told you guys for months that was happening. Charlie Flair is not getting the reaction yet again that WWE was hoping for when she came back. I could have told you that. Alexa is getting a good reaction. That's not what they wanted because they don't want to book Alexa correctly. So Helmsley is tying up Charlie with Alexa to try to get that rub. That reception that Alexa gets, they're going to try to give that to Charlie by hooking her up with Alexa. We saw this before with Asuka and Charlie, and it didn't work then. It won't work now. But they're going to be taking on the tag team champions at Evolution. Also an NXT tag team that I believe is going to be announced tonight. And also the Kabuki Warriors were added. And that shows you just how how bad the product is today. If you're wondering just how true BC's words are on how bad creative is in WWE, it's not creative. There's no creativity. Just look at what is happening all across the board. Goldberg just comes back. Snap a finger, he has a title match. Trish Stratus just comes back. Blink of an eye, she has a title match next week. Trish Stratus, just like Bill Goldberg, they're just coming back. Title matches galore. Asuka just comes out to help her old friend, Kairi. And title match. It's happening all across the board. Matches are just being made left and right. Most of them have titles on the line. We don't have storylines anymore. We just have spur-of-the-moment knee-jerk reactions because there's no time, and they don't want to get creative anyway. They don't want to spend an ounce of energy on this. Helmsley's too busy recording his reality TV show for Netflix, and he's doing commercials and voiceovers and podcasts. He doesn't want to spend an ounce of his day, 1 minute of his day, doing his actual job, head of creative, chief of content and talent. He doesn't want to do any of that. He wants to play the role of Vince McMahon, but he doesn't want to do Vince McMahon shit. So you're just seeing people just be announced for matchups. You matchup. You just saw Drew McIntyre return. Dude's been gone for several weeks, maybe even a couple months. Drew McIntyre's been gone for a little bit. Drew just came back. Went to attack Randy Orton. I think Randy hit him with an RKO. Something weird. Guys, a match was made for Saturday night's main event just from that one interaction. And boom, Drew's got a Saturday night's main event matchup with Randy Orton. Just from one interaction? That's what I mean. There's no long-term storytelling anymore. There's no long-term booking. There's no slow burn. There's no stories. There's nothing. There's just come out, say some words with this individual, and boom, we got our PLE match. Kabuki Warriors were formed at the end of this match when your tag team champion was already pinned, by the way, by Kairi. Asuka comes out, Kabuki Warriors are reunited, and 5 minutes later, Adam Pearce is like, dude, title match. But speaking of Evolution, Nikki Bella was up next. She announced, this was a backstage, this was not in the ring, but Nikki Bella announces that she is participating in the Evolution Battle Royal, which I believe the winner will then get a shot at a championship. I'm guessing. I don't know, and I don't care. This is just a battle royal for everybody that they don't have creative for, they can't find room for, so we'll add them in. Could be a little fun, though. It's like a mini Royal Rumble because they're going to have some surprises. They're going to have NXT ladies in there. Those will be announced on tonight's NXT, we're being told, from Ava, their GM down there in NXT. So Nikki Bella announced for this battle royal at Evolution. And then the aforementioned attack on Sami Zayn. Zayn and Braun Breaker's match was next as Zayn was coming down the aisle. Kross attacks him, takes him out with the pipe that he took him out post-match at Night of Champions. Was that Night of Champions or was that the next night? Or 2 nights later on Raw? I think it was the Raw after Night of Champions. He hit him backstage, busted up those ribs, and then last night before Sammy's match, busted up those ribs again. So, yeah. And then he went into the match with Breaker. I gotta give some props over to Braun Breaker because in his promo, I skipped over this, but in his promo to start the night, Braun Breaker was talking about how he can't stand Sami Zayn, his stupid face, his stupid beard, the fact that he doesn't go to the gym. That just came out of nowhere, and it was just funny. Like, a lot of people in the crowd were laughing. Like, where did that come from? You don't go to the gym, but it is what we are always saying, right? Like, if you're a pro wrestler, go to the gym, man. At least look the part a little more, right? It goes back to what we were talking about, larger than life and relatable. I guess you could have a little bit of a mixture, but at least have that larger than life. A lot of our pro wrestlers today, they do look like they just got off their Home Depot shift, their 9 to 5, week-to-week paycheck job. That's fine if that's your deal. That's not what a pro wrestler. That's not how that should be a different vibe. So anyway, Breakker ends up beating Zayn via 2 spears. Each spear was absolutely pathetic. I don't know if it's Breakker just not hitting it correctly or Sami Zayn just takes the spears really badly. But I mean, one arm was grazing Sami Zayn each time. One was on the outside and the other was on the inside. And they're so bad. These were so bad. And that's it. Sami Zayn loses his match to Braun Breakker. Nobody's ever going to go back and watch this match again. If it wasn't for a review, nobody would even be talking about this match. We move on. Lyra. This is hour 2, I believe. Lyra, Valkyria, Bayley, and Becky Lynch in-ring promo. They say some words between the 3, and then they all beat one another up. That's the creativity level in WWE. That's why I say you could grab a crayon and a coloring book, and you could book better than this. I don't care if you've never created a damn thing in your life. You never even put a Lego set together. I don't care if you've ever played a game of Tetris. You could book better than Hunter Hearst Helmsley. This is your big deal. You have Evolution this week. No reason to care about this triple threat match. Is that even what it is? I think it is. I don't even care. I'm guessing that's what I mean. They're speaking, and it's like, you ever see Charlie Brown and wah. They're saying something, but it's just wah. Lyra, Bayley, and Becky, they say some words, they beat each other up, and we're supposed to care about this. We're supposed to call this a storyline. We're supposed to say Helmsley's cooking. Jason Yeaterman defeats Bronstonian Reed via DQ next. Reed chucks a chair at his face, and that's the match. One of the commentary chairs, he just chucked it at Uso's face. I do like that Uso is just doing the dives through the ropes now and no longer over the top. He can't do it anymore. He's gassed. He doesn't have the ups anymore. That's what I mean. When I say Jey Uso is not a main event talent, he just couldn't handle it. And he broke down during this singles run. It's sad because, again, that's my favorite tag team. The Usos. Them two together, so good. Individually, Jey Uso, man, he didn't just lose a step. He broke down. He can't go over the top rope anymore, or at least he doesn't that often. So now he goes through. So he did a couple of dives through the ropes in this match. On the second one, I believe it was, he took a commentator chair to the dome piece. They actually announced a DQ. The match wasn't thrown out. It was a DQ. There we go. So a DQ. Post-match, a tsunami on top of Jason Yeaterman, and that's that. So the faces take some bumps. I get the ribs are getting bust up, right? Sami Zayn got his ribs bust up by Karrion and Breakker. The pipe by Karrion, and then the spear to the ribs by Breakker. So Sami's taking out his, and then Jey Uso, he gets a chair to his dome piece, and then a tsunami. So I guess that's... Hey, listen, at least we didn't get yeeting afterwards. I'm like, dude, give him 10 tsunamis. If I don't hear yeet for another 80 years, 100 years, 18 lifetimes, I'm cool with it. Grande Americano Kaiser defeats How to Train Your Dragon Ball Z Lee via pinfall next. This was a metal headbutt. If you know, you know. Yes, that's what I said. It is Grande Americano Kaiser. And the whole match, it got obnoxious. I understand once or twice, 3-4 times mentioning it. The entire match was just about how that's not Chad Gable. That's not Chad Gable. That doesn't have the tattoo on the neck. We understand. Chad Gable's like 2 full feet less. We understand. He's a little stockier, not slimmer with muscle. We understand. The entire match. I'm actually even okay with this stupid character and this weird thing they have with Kaiser. Maybe when Gable... it makes no sense because Gable's a heel. Kaiser's a heel. So when Gable comes... Are you setting up heel versus heel Kaiser Gable? But that's what Helmsley does. He doesn't care if you're a face or a heel. He does weird shit just for the sake of it. But I'd be okay with it, but I can't do this every single time Kaiser's out there for 10 or 15 minutes going, that's not the original Americana latte. And how to train your Dragon Ball Z Lee was completely irrelevant in all this. He was just there to take the metal headbutt, look up at the lights. Gunther was up next. His promo says maybe 2 sentences. Something about Goldberg is scared. And then Goldberg comes barreling down the road in some muscle buster, hits the ring, punches Gunther, goes for the spear, but Gunther escapes. So, that's it. That's their build. It's this Saturday. This is all the go-home show to all of this, guys. I didn't even mention that. 8 hours into this review. That's what it feels. I didn't even mention, this is the go-home show to all of it. Saturday night's main event, Evolution. I know NXT is its own thing, but Great American Bash promotion. This is the go-home show. And that's what you got. Gunther just comes up, punches him, goes for a spear, but Gunther runs away. And the whole time, you guys want to hear the best part? It's sarcastically, it's the worst part, but it's hilarious, if not so damn sad. Check this out. You're not going to believe what you probably will believe what Helmsley did throughout this entire segment. The entire segment, Helmsley had the piped-in Goldberg chants at an 11. No shame, right? Usually you put that at about, if you're going to do piped-in noise or sound effect, you put it at a 2 or a 3. If you have to 4, you never want to do it, but if you got a 5, right? Because the whole concept of piped-in noise isn't just so you hear the piped-in noise. It's to get the crowd to hear it and start participating. It's to get the crowd going with it. You guys don't even realize, most of these This Is Awesome chants, a lot of them are piped in first. And the crowd gets into it. That's WWE piping it in. They just keep it at a 2 or a 3 really low, get the upper levels to start chanting it. Sometimes they have plants, literal people that work for the company, and they're in the crowd, and they'll start the chants. They have all the tricks. But the whole goal is just keep it low and then have everybody organically kick in. But Helmsley was just like, let's just blast it. He put that to 11, those Goldberg chants, trying to get everybody to really get into it. Now, this is something that's been done for the longest, right? WCW was doing the Goldberg piped-in chants. Vince McMahon did them, so it's not just Helmsley, but Helmsley is just he's the one that pimps this concept out more than anybody. He loves manufacturing reactions. He loves concepts like the Thunderdome because you can manufacture and manipulate audience response. He loves that. So you're not going to shit on Goldberg coming back and going for a title match. You're not going to shit on Helmsley's lack of creativity. In fact, you're going to hear Goldberg loud. And the crowd that doesn't realize it, they think it's the rest of the arena, and they're like, wow, yeah, Goldberg's huge. It's manufactured. It's manipulated. Just look at that crowd, man. Look at how many kids were in that crowd and whatnot. How many times have you seen Goldberg in the last couple of years? Dude's 58. He's for the old timers. And even we are like, dude, we like Goldberg. Or whatever. Not the best wrestler, but okay, it's cool. You hear his music. He's amplified usually, so it's like, oh, he's wild. But even we're kind of like, all right, how many times are we going to see this? The kids surely are not going to be going chaotic for Goldberg. So you hear that response. Yeah, put 2 and 2 together, guys. You think you know exactly what the deal was. And again, he just punches Gunther, goes to spear him, Gunther runs away, and Goldberg's yelling, 5 days! 5 days! You don't want to get a little more creative than that. You don't want to leave your audience going, man, I didn't care at all about Gunther and Goldberg. Now I have to see it. That's the type of segment you produce on a live show days before your big matchup. Instead, they played it. It's not even playing it safe. It's playing it. It's doing the most bare minimum work imaginable. It's putting 0 effort. Gunther, go in there for 2 sentences. Goldberg will come up. Goldberg will punch you and then just run away. And this dude gets to call himself Chief of Content and Creative. And that's the ideas. Main event, Rollins pins Penta. LA Knight BFT on Rollins to end the show. That's it. There's nothing to elaborate on. Rollins versus Penta, because I guess this is going to be a banger. The crowd will chant, "This is awesome." Michael Cole and Corey Graves will have aneurysms and orgasms while calling the match, I guess, right? You're going to see a pro wrestling match between two wrestlers. Awesome. See that at the local bingo hall any day of the week. This is the go-home show to a bunch of shows this weekend. And I'm watching Penta and Rollins have this matchup for no purpose. And LA Knight comes out of nowhere for 10 seconds to take out Rollins, and then he runs away through the crowd. We fade to black with Paul Levesque McMahon's name. I produced this show. We know, jackass. Trust me. Anybody could tell you produced this. Trust me. There's no other garbage on the planet quite like Raw. You can say what you want about Dynamite all you want, even, because I know that's what people like to compare. I'm not saying Dynamite is some great show. Hopefully one day. But at least Dynamite is watchable. At least it doesn't feel like a chore. It's not exhausting. It's not nauseating. This show, it's all the above. And that's your go-home show to everything. Raw 6/7/25. Again, Rollins pins Penta. LA Knight beats up Rollins. What are you going to remember from any of this? Asuka Kairi and the roll-up to pin Rok-C? What else? I don't even know. Breaker defeating Sami Zayn? Bronson Reed DQ'd on Jason Uso? Rollins pinning Penta? That's it. Goldberg punching Gunther? That's your Monday Night Raw. Heading into Evolution, Saturday night's main event, SummerSlam in a few weeks. That's it. That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. It's not a narrative or an agenda. I'm going over this bit by bit, segment by segment, piece by piece. And together we are coming to the same conclusion. There's nothing on this show you'd go back and watch. In fact, when it's done, you're probably wondering what you just watched. This isn't even a show where you would need to watch highlights. There's no highlights. It's just lowlights. That's what I mean. When people try to sell you a bag of goods just to get clicks and views and more money by doing silly little gimmicks like, I give this show 12 ups and 5 downs. They're lying their ass off to you, clearly. Clicks, views, and money. I get it. It's just business to them. It's not for this channel, and it's not for BC. Our number one priority, make pro wrestling great again and get WWE back on track so we can feel that emotion when we watch what we love. We're not here to collect a paycheck. We're here to make this shit great. This shit sucks. It's got to get better. The good news is you got BC to make sure that it does and to always give it to you, not just honest, but amplified. Until next time, and it will be that next time, BC and the unit saying check you. Salute!